Hey there! So today we have another review. This is another beer. I just hit the jackpot at Total Wine, by the way. I was able to find like five or six at least fresh hoppy beers. Somehow they just all drop within a couple weeks, which is crazy because anytime I stop by Total Wine, I'll find like a beer or two to review, almost no hoppy beers, and like everything was freaking fresh. So what do we have here? This was canned, wow, literally like 5 weeks ago, and the Enjoy By is a four 1 month to it's a 5 month Best Buy. Yeah, 5 month Best Buy. 5 month Best Buy. So this is Arrogant Bastard. Look at that. So first off, the really cool thing is that it wraps it on the label. They don't call it Stone, so they pushed on this kind of arrogant. They call it arrogant consortia. I don't know why they keep pushing that kind of like. I need to do a video about this, but we're talking about like brands and like instead of just like making it like pushing the Arrogant Bastard brand, sort of what like Voodoo Ranger's done. Like a lot of people probably don't know, but they say New Belgium on their label. It's just Voodoo Ranger. They could have done that with here and still be under Stone. Here they just went all out. So maybe they were ahead of their time. It's actually arguable. Maybe it's a good thing. But anyway, this is Arrogant Bastard. The 7.2% beer. Crazy thing is that with all the beers that Stone does on their website, they give you all the ingredients, all the tasting notes, everything. Here, it is still secret recipe, which is absolutely crazy because one of my favorite beer podcasts of all time is what is it like? Can You Brew It? I think it's Can You Brew It on the Brewing Network. Jamil Zainasheff and a bunch of homebrewers, or not homebrewers, but like well, he's a professional brewer, but like some homebrewers would just try to recreate recipes, and they would just never give the recipe on this, and you still can't find the recipe online. But they did like 4 or 5 iterations of the beer, and they think they knocked it and killed it out of that park. So what I understand this beer to have is, I mean, I didn't look at their sheets on what they finally went on, but there's a lot of special B in here, which is like a kind of like a Belgian style malt that has really like intense kind of like dark fruit flavors, like just like a lot of that. And then there's a lot of, I believe, Columbus and maybe Chinook in here. Anyway, I've listened to all this podcast, but this is like a while ago when I just like dug deep into it because like in my mind, like as a home brewer, um, one of the coolest things you do is just like literally, hey man, how can I replicate your recipe as a professional brewer? And they did it on like their 5-10 gallon scale, and were able to crush it a lot of times. And they just kept attacking this beer because they couldn't quite get it right. And they finally, in their mind, did it. And again, Mitch Steele doesn't even work for Stone anymore. He was the head brewer for Stone, and he will not give away the secrets, but the secrets are out there pretty much. They were able to recreate it, so I think that's the secret. So the head is very rocky, which is not ideal. It looks unattractive, like very rocky, which is a sign that I've noticed with oxidation. If you get a rocky head on hoppy beer, mm-mm, the beer has tons of special B in there, right? The beer has this really kind of, it looks like almost like a Belgian quad. It has this kind of like a, what do you call this? Ruby deep amber color. It's not quite brown, but it's a really rich kind of deep ruby color. Yeah, with a little bit of ruby in the lights, like a deep amber. The head is like light tan. On the nose, it is sweet, dark fruit. You get a little bit of like dried cranberries, dried raisin. Nice kind of like malty sweetness in there as well, like a little bit of like molasses, brown sugar, a little bit of red fruit in there. I get like goji berries. I get some like I mean, I would call them red fruits, but like cherries, dried cherries. That's quite nice. The hoppiness is not quite as intense. Cheers. Wow, this beer seems so different. Um, this beer, I always thought was a big beer. It's only 7.2%. So it's like solid IPA range, but it tastes bigger because the beer is dumb bitter. Actually, like I remember doing blind tasting with Brian Reed, Master Cicerone, and I called this Sierra Nevada Bigfoot blind. Like we were doing full blind. Yeah, we didn't have options. Yeah, no, I think we actually had options, and I called this Bigfoot because how intensely bitter it is. There are very few very few beers that are so bitter that they're out of place. And I'd argue two that you can mention is this beer and Sierra Nevada Bigfoot. This beer is stupid bitter, but it's nice. At least the place where it's at. It's a really nice kind of like, again, that like, I think it's crystal malt, but also like a special beef. It's a really nice kind of rich red fruit character kind of sweetness. It's not only like sticky caramel sweetness, but also this kind of like red fruit sweetness that I was smelling, like cherries, dried raisins, again goji berries, even like hawthorn crisps. That's an Asian thing. You have to Google what that is and try to find it. But there's a little bit of that kind of character in here. That's like a dried fruit candy thing. Um, and then there's a little bit of light roasting here. I think Special B can do that too. It has a little bit of like light cocoa that sits around. Man, it's a good beer. Jeez. Whereas I find Bigfoot to be always like in balance in my mind, or not balanced or unbalanced in my mind. This beer, if your palate shifts to the bitterness, it fits. I actually remember before getting into craft beer, going to like a place in if you're in Long Island, New Hyde Park. This restaurant doesn't exist anymore, but it was like a sandwich place or something that had really high ratings. And beer and draft. I was like, arrogant bastard. I'm gonna try craft beer, and I hated it. It was so freaking bitter. And even now, like deep into my palate shift of like lupulin and all the shift, sorry, not that curse word, shift on bitterness. Um, it's still a very bitter beer. Wow, this is a full bitter beer, and the balance of malt and sweetness is full bitter. Like to get more bitter than this, then you'd be extra bitter. But yeah, but I think the balance is really quite nice. There's that really nice sweetness that is not only from the residual sweetness of the beer, excuse me, but the complexity of malt really sells it quite nicely. I think that's a beautiful thing about this beer. Where I would argue, first off, this is a beer head's beer. Like, most people would hate this beer. Like regular people would hate this beer. But if you're a hoppy drinker, this is nice. And like beers don't come this color anymore, nor do they come this bitter generally anymore. So it's a nice kind of like time machine where like you can get something amber and bitter, and it's so crazy. That's fun. And it's only 7.2. Like, honestly, I would have guessed this guy was like 8.5 because it was so much more complexity, so much bitterness in it. The bitterness is quite nice, by the way. I'm describe the bitterness. The bitterness is like a lingering, piney, lightly earthy. It's mostly just pine, like dragging on for days on your palate. And it's so weird because like those West Coast and Pacific Northwest beers have this like lingering bottom tone of like earthiness. Here's just like high pines. It's green, resiny, sticky, sappy. Um, it honestly has to be Chinook because like Chinook does that from what sap from Treehouse. Yeah, it's that pine tree thing that just like is a high tone. It's a green tone instead of an earthy brown black tone of soil. How it describes flavor sometimes. Mm, I like this beer. It's so good. It's a freaking time machine. It's so cool. It's like just drinking so many of these like chalk bombs and hop burn bombs, like the polyphenols and the green. Like this is a nice example. For me, this beer stood the test of time, but I think it's because I'm like a little bit removed from that. I don't think this can honestly sell in many markets. I can't imagine many people going like, "I want this beer." Like it's abrasive. It is Stone Arrogant Bastard. It is, um, sorry, don't call it Stone. It's Arrogant Bastard Ale. It's not Stone. Um, I don't know why anybody would order this, but if you are in the beer game for at least 10 years, you're gonna love this guy. Get it fresh. It is so good. It just has this sweetness, the red fruit, the crystal malt, the strong bitterness, the strong pine, intense bitterness. It is so freaking delicious. It's impression, but also drinkability. It's only 7.2. It drinks like 8-9%. Mm. Oh, yeah, special B, special B. I think Columbus and Chinook, all that. This beer gets a solid it's so unique. That's a solid 96. That's a solid 96. No. Oh, no. You guys want it. You guys need it. And they moved everything around with plants and all this stuff going around the house. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. Oh, there you go. You guys probably see in the shot, and I'm just an idiot. So everybody's sleeping. 96. Freaking amazing. Until next time, guys. Cheers later.